You know they got that same name with different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. They got that same name, different point of views. Whichever one you choose, you can't lose. Keisha and Keisha, man.
Knowledge, wisdom, and discernment. Keisha, you don't got it, you can get some if you heard them.
Keisha and Keisha, man.
Knowledge, wisdom, and discernment.
Keisha
you don't
and
got
Keisha,
it, you
man.
can get some if you heard them. We gon' laugh, have a good time. Just sit back and elevate your mind.
Make some money. So
well. Welcome. It's episode number 10. Keisha.
5 plus 5.
5 plus 5, baby. We keeping it moving.
10.
We keeping it moving
9
around here.
1,
Yes.
9 plus 3. 6 plus 4. We got 10. Let's do it.
Episode number 10. We got a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to get right into it.
Hurry.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's recap a little bit. Oh, my God. All right.
Got a camera today, baby.
Right, because we're taping it live, trying to see what we can do. And
we're
you guys
not
might
taping
be
it live.
We're
videoing
it, whatever, live. So we're gonna put up little bits and clips on our social media so that you guys get to see what we're doing when we be in the living room taping. But at any rate, let's keep it going. All right, so the first thing up is Drake. Drake wrote an Instagram message, and it says, this picture is from 2007. He's talking about, let's recap a little bit, about the blackface picture he did. And he says, a time in my life where I was an actor and was working on a project that was about young black actors struggling to get roles, being stereotyped and typecast. The photo represents how African Americans was once wrongfully portrayed in entertainment. So when you know the reason behind it, it does make a difference.
I was with Drake last week.
You are?
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the guys were 2 black guys. Is that the name of?
Yeah, 2 black guys. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Remember, I was for it last week. So I mean,
so Drake, we're glad you cleared it up, though.
We're glad you cleared it up.
Like he said, as an actor, he was trying to act, and when people trying to do you dirty, they gon',
Well, and that's why this instant internet thing that take things out of content. Mm-hmm. So thank you for putting it back in content. But I knew you a brother, and I knew you were not trying to harm our race.
All right. So the statement issued by the White House about the Eagles. So they invited the Eagles to come to the White House.
Who are the Eagles? The Super Bowl champions.
Yes, girl. And I mean, for real deal, Super Bowl champions. They invited them to come out to... What? Would you stop smiling at that dang on bit? She is doing the most, and she the one who did not even want to do the video.
I
but she
can't help
it. Okay. All right.
There ain't be no camera.
All right.
I'm smiling because the White House is stupid.
Well.
First of all, you invite them, and nobody wants to come to your raggedy ass White House, and then you get mad talking about you uninviting them, and you gonna have a theme about the national anthem. First of all, and they're mad because nobody on the Eagles team kneeled the whole year. What is wrong with him? But
he don't, and it goes back to the same thing. Like, he doesn't really know any facts. Like, he just don't know anything. And half the time he's coming out, talking out the side of his mouth, and he don't know anything.
And the people that support him don't know anything. Mm-hmm. They're sitting there going, oh yeah, it's about the national anthem. Everything we've said, it has not been about the national anthem. And one of the players, Malcolm Jenkins.
Oh, I loved him when he did that silent protest.
Oh, well, he held a sign up saying,
what
you aren't listening.
Yeah,
if you think it's about the anthem,
he did the first sign.
Listening.
The first sign talked about the statistics of the stuff that was going on. So, and they didn't get it. So
he still don't get it. And trying to make it about black players, that's the other part. Mm-hmm. Listen, you so out of touch with this country. I don't know how the hell you got to be in charge of anything.
Well, and what's even crazy about it is that he had this celebration of America and didn't even know the American songs.
Girl, I saw that.
Like, the same man, like you said, who didn't want to go to war, who doesn't pay any taxes. I mean, like, come on. Like, he is our biggest mistake to date. But then it was so funny because they did a press conference with LeBron and Curry. And so LeBron, they asked him about it. And he was like, look, I'm telling you right now, he ain't even got to invite us. And I think I can speak for the Cavaliers, for the
whole team.
No, not for the Cavaliers.
City.
Right. He said, no, I can speak for Steph Curry and them too. And then they had Steph. Steph was like, ditto what LeBron said. I don't want to be bothered with him.
Well, I have one more piece on that. T.I. posted today that Kaepernick is gearing up for his day in court against the NFL owners, and he is going to subpoena number 45.
What? I don't think you can do that. Can you?
Yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can.
Well, all these other things he was saying that he can't get subpoenaed and he can't do this. And
That's a damn lie. That's he a damn lie. He don't know. He about to be subpoenaed.
Well, you know what? I think for criminal stuff. No, not for criminal. For when you what's the other thing? Civil. Yeah, I think he can be subpoenaed for
and criminal. He's not above the law. Unlike what 45 been telling y'all, he ain't above the law, boo.
Okay,
and he gonna find that out the hard way.
45 wasn't gonna win that election too, but
I didn't think that. That's why I was out there working.
Okay, all right. Well, he is continually on his pursuit to commute sentences for different people, and today he commuted the sentence for Miss Alice Johnson. But what's interesting is Barack Obama wouldn't do it.
That ain't interesting.
They didn't have any details behind it.
Well, let me say something. That is interesting because Barack Obama didn't pardon. The only reason this damn fool is pardoning people is because he's trying to set up himself to get pardoned. You and let me say something else. You help one black person out of millions. And I'm gonna switch that for Barack Obama. Barack Obama helped millions.
You don't even have an argument with me there. I'm gonna play my little sound machine. I'm gonna give you one of these on this.
Hey, and Miss Alice Johnson, I'm glad you out. I'm glad he used you as a scapegoat. But baby, go home, take care of your great grands, and the system did you wrong. Nobody's saying it didn't. But my thing about 45 is that he continues to not help people in the masses. He just want to help one black person. Because Kim Kardashian came. And they did a photo op. What about the rest of these hungry ass people that's out here?
I cannot. Okay. Let's move on. What you know, no good, girl.
What you know, no good.
What you know, no good. All right. So, Serena Williams.
All right. That's my girl. You know, I'm a tennis fanatic. Go ahead. Yes.
I have an aunt and an uncle that lives in the Carolinas, and they are too. Like, die hard. Every time I go to their house, if it's tennis season, baby, you better know that's what's on TV. And they are doing it.
Around. Girl, tennis ain't got no season.
Okay.
Woohoo! We in the French Opening right now. She just pressing buttons, but I like it. So Serena was talking about postpartum depression, and if we as women, we get this thing that we can't have anything wrong with us. She's, they're looking at her as a superwoman, and things happen. We both had babies. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe that that's one of the biggest things. Women are already seen as the weaker gender, and so
I don't know how the hell I can't imagine one man having cramps, let alone have a baby. How the hell we weak?
Yes.
But go ahead.
So we've already seen as that, and then when you when you try to add in the factor that we want to, I guess make people aware. They turn awareness into complaints, and it's not a complaint. It's making you aware because you just want people to know. Like, I went through early menopause, and the doctors, my husband, nobody would believe me initially, but I was like, something's going on with my body. Like, I'm having these hot flashes. I'm this, and went in and got tested, and and found out that I did. And it's one of those things where I think a lot of times we suffer in silence, and we shouldn't have to.
I just listened to that podcast today talking about how unfair the health system is to women, that most doctors tell women that go have a glass of wine, relax. Right. You're just overthinking, or you're not feeling what you're feeling. And one of the doctors asked the lady, what's her pain level from 1 to 10? And she said 11. And he was like, oh, if somebody tell you it's right. What does that mean? She's in pain.
She is in pain, and you need to know that.
It took 8 years before she could get relief for anybody to listen to her. And just what you were saying, you got to keep going. And one lady was in the hospital, but her husband was like, something's wrong with her. He kept advocating for her. Right. And the shifts changed. She was 13 hours there with abdominal pains before they even saw her.
That's too much. I that's what I said. And
they were seeing men that needed Viagra.
And she's calling it the 4th trimester, and I think that it's something serious. It's something that we should look into. So I applaud Serena for actually being. But you got a little something else about Serena.
Well, that's my girl. Okay. So we go way back when they had them beads in their hair. When they was at the French Open, I thought they were Africans. I did not know they were Americans. I didn't know, but I was young. But now I know they're Americans. So a reporter, Bill Simmons, asked Serena at the French Open that he's been dying to ask her a question since 2004, 14 years, because Donald Trump, our now president, but then supposed to be businessman / entertainer / I don't know what the hell you want to call it.
Right. Just slash.
Said that he was he thought that Serena was intimidated by Maria Sharapova. I always get her name mixed up. And because of her good looks when she played her. And he asked, so this reporter said, I've been dying to ask you, were you intimidated by Maria?
I heard her husband was like...
But hold on. Serena said, never been intimidated by anyone.
Okay. Serena. I mean...
Go Serena! Right. And then her husband, I gotta give him I love a husband that stepped in for his wife. He was like, and I'm a quote, waited 14 years for this. Wait at least another 14 years before asking another question in your life.
Yes, to that.
It's sexist.
But you know what? Not just sexist, but it goes to show you again, like, what Donald Trump sees as beauty, he just assumes that everybody sees the same thing. And you know, on our Instagram page just a minute ago, I posted a pic and was like, just the different shades and colors and shapes of black women. You know, we come in all different shapes and colors, women, period, but definitely black women, and we embrace all of that. Like I was having this conversation with some of my girlfriends at work, and it's a young girl that's there, been married a couple of years. She's young and she's, you know, really on these diet things, and she's so really skinny. And I was just like, baby, don't nobody like bones but a dog, baby. And so
Donald Trump.
Yeah. And so everybody else started laughing, and I wasn't trying to offend her, but I was just saying, like, you know, black men like a little something to hang on to, baby. And most men, period. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, you don't want somebody who, you know, that's not your type, but on what?
No, I'm laughing because he thought Serena didn't look good. I know brothers that thought Serena is banging. They like, what?
Didn't she date Common for a minute?
She dated Common. Drake got a few kisses in. Drake said he likes them big sisters, right? And Serena is so healthy. That's the part I don't understand. This sister she was number one in her career and got so many titles behind her. But you don't wear hair and makeup to play tennis and then turn around and say she's not beautiful. Just say she's not for you.
Yeah.
Don't say she's not beautiful,
well, I'm
and that she's intimidated by the blonde head woman.
And when you think about it, just like moving into the next topic about little boys wearing T-shirts that says "I'm a feminist too," and I think that for the longest time there were different countries that felt that feminism was a slap in the face or direct, I guess, go against men. And so men were intimidated by it because they felt like if you actually embrace your feminism or at least supported your wife or your girlfriend or your mom with it, then, you know, that wasn't the right thing to do. It was like going against, you know, the men.
What about here in this country?
Yeah,
in this country, they feel like feminist is a dirty word. Feminist is not a dirty word. A dirty word is Donald Trump.
You got
that's just a filthy word.
Oh, God. Okay.
But I was going to say... just that they were saying because he was a 4-year-old, he did not pick out the outfit. It's clearly the parents' thing that he's a feminist too. And is that appropriate for a 4-year-old? I put my kids on what I want to put my kids on. When he get to the age to where he don't want to wear things, he will let me know. Well, but until then...
Here's what's crazy about it. I think it was Louis Vuitton, because I was watching Jada when she was talking to her son about it, and Will called her.
We need to talk about it.
Well, but Will called and was like... did you talk to Jaden about this skirt he had on? And she says, well, yeah, I did. And she said she kind of left it at that. And she had asked Jaden, he's like... I thought it was cool. You know?
And it was trendy.
Yeah.
When he first came out with the skirt on, I noticed that a lot of people were dragging him, you know, was saying he's wearing a skirt. But for some reason, I don't know why, but I instantly knew it was a fashion statement. I didn't think it was his sexuality. It didn't have anything to do with his sexuality. He just looked like a punker, you know, punk rock, somebody who's taking fashion risks.
Right.
And is another person that does that is Andre 3000. You know, he takes a bunch of fashion risks.
There's quite a few people. My cousin
CeeLo Green.
Yeah, my cousin who's a comedian in California, he was talking about some of the rappers and some of the stuff that they wear now. He was saying it in kind of a negative way, like, what is going on? What happened to the hardcore rap when you came out? You know, so now they got the shirts all torn and got all this type of stuff. But but you know what? I watched what's the little show, the spinoff from Blackish, Grownish?
Yeah.
And it really opened my eyes to a lot of things, especially with college students, on how they're a lot more non-judgmental and they're a lot freer in their thought and the things that they accept from their friends and stuff, and not necessarily in a negative way, but just letting people be who they are.
Well, and that's one of the things that happened with Jada and her son Jaden. It's about getting out of the box. She said from day one he never wanted to be in a box, and he was a different type of child, and that's some of the things that you've been talking about is getting to know your child. She took him to daycare, and she said she sat out there. The story was she sat out there and he hated it. She said he cried, and she was like, but I'm gonna be outside, I'm gonna be, and he was like, you know, he believed her, and then he realized she done left because she come back in a different car. She got different clothes on. Right. And he was like, you lied to me, mama. But he remembered that. But those are the things that getting to know your child, it's not the box that we have that you go to school and you go do this, and this. Some of that doesn't work for all kids. Right. And to recognize that, you have to go out and go, you know what? That doesn't work for this kid. I got to figure out what's going on with him. And the other part was that Jaden is okay. He didn't care what they were saying about him wearing a skirt. And what he said on the show was, I was getting checks. Yeah. He got paid for that. He was like, I'm getting paid.
Listen, social media itself has gotten to where it's so accepting of stuff. And you wanted to kind of talk about, is it desensitizing our young generation and what is appropriate? And I just feel like that, I think it's not like there's any new ideas and new things that's going on. It's just being talked about.
Or
where it wasn't.
More visual. Because before we used to talk about it, and you had to go through all these hoops to find things, and now you just pick your phone up and it's right there.
Well, and that's one thing that I, growing up, it was BET when DJ and Clifford was younger, and we didn't watch it in the house. And a lot of people would clown me about it, but I'm like, there was things on there I just didn't want them to see. They needed to get a little bit older, understand things a little bit differently before we get to that point. And I think sometimes people thought that was funny. It's like, well, kid, no, because you know what? Right now, my godmother constantly said to me, you have to watch what goes in his eyes and what he hears, and that was very important to me. And because I just feel like sometimes kids they can't unsee it. That's the first thing. And them, the fact that they now are exposed to it, now they have to process those feelings, and if they don't openly talk to you about it, they're gonna talk to somebody, or they're gonna get curious enough to start searching for other stuff. So just because you showing it to them and think they're not doing nothing with it, like I tell my brother all the time about his two young girls, stop playing that crazy music and just letting them listen to anything and say anything and do these little dances and stuff, because they're young girls. And so what's gonna happen is, again, they're gonna get desensitized to a lot of stuff, and they're gonna accept some dude they dating calling them out there or saying something crazy.
Well, my household, we couldn't watch In Living Color. My mama did not allow it. And BET and MTV Raps. Me and my brother kind of snuck it in, but it was country music in our house. My mom played country music. All my cousins, when they come visit, they come from other cities, and they come and we have country music blasting. And my cousin, today is his birthday. Shout out to my little cousin, Lil Mel. And he's in his 30s. I know. And he asked me a few months ago, y'all still listen to country music? And I'm like,
that's funny.
It's ingrained of us. I'm a Reba fan.
Listen, it's the same thing. What's in the name? Like, should kids address all adults by Mr. and Mrs.? And I have always been a big proponent in that, because that breeds respect. And I think that once you teach a kid to be respectful to adults, then when they get older, they respect adults. And that's just how I was raised. And so it's crazy how we go to Chicago, and my grandmother, my aunts and stuff will see DJ, because they don't get to see him that often. And he'd be like, yes, ma'am, or this or whatever. And they'd be like, oh my God, he's so blah, blah, blah. My other cousins be like, yeah. No.
I know, it's so ignorant. But I grew up, on one side of my family, you got all the titles, aunt, uncle, whatever. Yeah. On the other side, we didn't do the titles. My mom's sisters, we called them by their first name. And And it just depends on what. My thing is, if an adult tell you what they want to be called, tell them about what they want to be called, because that's the other part about respect. Because if I don't like it, if I personally don't like it, then that's not what I don't like. And I get it that the kids are taught that, and if I try to, if they're being respectful, I understand. I don't like Miss Keisha. I don't like to be called Miss Keisha. That's your name. That's not my name. And I'm only a few years older than them, so just call me Keisha.
Did you say a few?
Just a few.
Oh, okay.
But my aunts and uncles on my mom's side, we call by their first name. And now that we're older, now I have to say that's my aunt.
Yeah. But okay, so then when you say that, like, why do you say it now instead of that's Helen?
No, I'm just saying because that's my way of saying who she is. That's my aunt. But if you hear me talking, I call them by their first name. But if I have to introduce you to them, I have to tell you that's my aunt, because we don't talk like that. But for me, because I've had both, it's what is acceptable. And for my family on my mom's side, we've got my mom's nieces and nephews. Some of them grew up with them. They were around the same ages. Since there's so many of them, they went to high school together. So they didn't do that's my aunt or that's my uncle, And so it kind of went on to the next generation of us. Well, we're still the same generation, but we're the younger ones.
My aunts were serious about that respect thing. And I get it. Like, I get it, because I don't care who you are. Like, we'll talk
but
a little bit later. But if
you're the same age, if you and your aunt are both 15 years old.
Well, my mom was the oldest of 8. So, of course, by the time I was getting into middle school and stuff, my uncles were barely in high school. Like, so they wasn't that much older than me, because my mom had me
did you call
when
him
she
uncle?
was 21. Yeah, I call him uncle. And they had nicknames. Uncle May, Uncle Michael, Uncle Piccolo, rest his soul. But
I'm not even going to call my folks' nickname out.
I mean, some of them, I didn't even know their real name until I got older, because that's what everybody called them. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about some politics.
Oh, you do?
That's some news.
Samantha B.
Yeah.
Samantha B. What's up, Samantha B? My girl. You were storming up there, y'all neck and neck. Y'all my girl.
Did she call Ivanka Trump a cunt?
She damn sure did.
She did.
Is Ivanka Trump a cunt? She sure is.
What makes her a cunt?
Because you're going to post a picture of you holding your son in the midst of your father tearing families apart. Bitch, you ain't slick. And Samantha B called you out for it.
Okay.
And this ain't your first time trying to be slick. You throwing shade like we didn't catch it. Nah, we smart. We ain't Trump supporters. We are not Trump supporters. We know what you saying. You holding your son and y'all all lovey-dovey in the middle of people getting torn from their babies are getting snatched out of mother's hands.
But that's not happening forever.
No, not forever. This is something that's going on now.
I know that's going on right now, but nobody would.
That's why
slavery itself was something that happened.
But we're talking about the fact that she's got Twitter and she posts a picture of her holding her son in the middle of the controversy that's going on now with families being torn apart because of this immigration. And that's why you're a cunt.
Okay. DC.
And guess what? Hold on. Let's stay with Samantha B for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
The president said he gonna need her to apologize for this. What are you gonna apologize for? Apologize for being born. I apologize. I want your daddy to get up and apologize for getting your mama pregnant and producing your raggedy ass. That's what the hell I want. I need an apology. I need him to come back. I need him to wake up the dead. Can somebody go bring his ass back to life? He need to come back and apologize to us for producing this mother.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. All right, so on a happier note, the D.C. mayor, her name is...
Hold on, I got to catch my breath.
Okay, catch your breath. Her name is Mira Bowers, and she is 45 years old, and she just adopted a baby, so she's going to be a single mom. And she was also one of the youngest people and the second female to be mayor. And I just like the fact that she just basically said, I wasn't going to continue to wait. I spent a lot of time on my career, doing a lot of things for my career, and this was the next step. This was something that I wanted. And sometimes, in that career, you don't find Mr. Right, and you ain't going to just settle for Mr. Right now.
Well, and I mean, it goes back to not being in a box. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be in a box. You don't have to get married, and you don't have to have kids.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you don't have to be in a box. Like Oprah. Oprah didn't have kids.
Well, I want to applaud you, Miss Bauer. Great job.
How you knew which button to press?
I knew which button to press. All right.
I unpressed that button.
So, Kate Spade, girl, on Tuesday morning.
Girl, but can I ask you, all the people start posting their Kate Spade stuff, and I was like,
well, that's all they can do.
I know that's all they can do, but can I say something? I ain't never bought no Kate Spade. No Kate Spade.
I think I got my glasses my big girl glasses that everybody be clowning me about. I think those are Kate Spade because I saw my little case in there and I hadn't even paid attention. I was like, oh,
that's Kate Spade.
Yeah.
Well, and in light of Kate Spade and this mental illness, we keep talking about mental illness, and I don't understand why our government will not provide free health care. This woman had access to health care.
Well, he promised free health care, did he not?
Who, girl?
Did he not? I need to do another one.
When you die, he'll get you some health care.
Okay.
You do not care about your health.
Over him.
But my thing is, we're talking about mental illness with the mass shootings, suicides, and it's just like, she had access, so it wasn't like she didn't have access, but it's a serious issue. We talk about the fact that what might not upset me might upset the next person.
And you don't know. But you know what? I think also, too, that to have a strong support, because my cousin years ago committed suicide. And when I was a little girl, we were really close. And you know how sometimes you just get older, and then he was older than me. So then he moved on and started doing other things before I got out of high school type of deal. And he ended up getting robbed, and these guys shot him in his back. And he did not, of course, die from that, but he got addicted to pain medication. And it turned into, it just kind of
spiraled out of control.
It spiraled completely out of control. And it was one of those things where I felt so bad because I was like, man, and there was times that I would think about him and go, he couldn't even pick up a phone and call, and we come from a huge family,
Yeah.
So big families, small families, people who live alone, people who got friends everywhere. I mean, sometimes you just got to do a mental health check on your friends. So are you good?
No. Is Donald Trump in office? Help me, Jesus.
Okay.
But I got to say that Kate Spade left a letter, and she said that in the letter for her daughter to ask her dad what this is all about. And so they've been reporting that it was because her husband was asking for a divorce. And they was like, people get divorced all the time. But what we just said,
it's
what
wrong
might
for her to do that to her daughter, though.
Yeah, that's very wrong. But that also tell you she's not in her right mind. I have to say, person in their right mind would not put their child through that and say, ask your father.
Okay, well, people not in their right mind. It's this dude called Nathan Nathanson, and he's running for the congressional seat in Virginia District 10. And this dude...
Wait. You need to hit that noise for Nathan.
Okay, which noise do you want?
The one that... Can he sit his ugly ass down? That one.
We might have another one. We're going to give him the wonk wonk on that one. So anyway, he is running, and the reason why he's able to run is because the governor had changed the laws on convicted felons, which I'm up in the air about, because I felt like if you go and you serve your time, now mind you, he went to jail for threatening presidents and all kind of stuff. So he spent 14 months in jail. So as a convicted felon, it wouldn't allow him to run. But once that happened and he passed that, which I think you serve your time, like don't keep repunishing me for everything. When I come out and I want to assimilate back into the society, and I've paid my debt and I've done whatever, then give me my rights
I
back.
agree with that, and that's for everybody. But this man, this shouldn't even be the problem for him.
Okay,
the problem should be your ass is crazy. You should not run for office if you this crazy, and he's this crazy. He believes in pedophilia.
Yes, he does. His wife committed suicide because he repeatedly raped her and said that she was the one who had these rape fantasies and all this kind of stuff. He says many women have them, and so he was taking it out on her, and she ended up killing herself.
This is mental illness. That's why you shouldn't run. Not convicted felons.
Right.
Convicted felons, if they serve their time, I'm for anyone. I believe in change, and if as a Christian, that's the whole basis of religion, of our religion, is that forgiveness. So I believe in forgiveness, but this is a whole level of crazy.
He refers to Adolf Hitler as the white supremacist hero.
And he is. I agree.
He supports gun rights, and that, of course, guns don't kill people. Feminists do, which we just talked about.
You know what?
He wants to legalize child pornography. and feel like incest is really not a big deal because
and
be it your daughter, whoever it is.
It's not if you crazy as hell. None of this is for people with sense. Okay, we get it. You're crazy as hell, and I get that you
guys need
support
to
all
look
that.
up this dude, Nathan Larson, because I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, but the problem is we do not get involved in our government.
Right.
We got white supremacists who are out there going, I'm gonna ruin.
Right.
And
the thing about it is there's a lot of people who may go in there to vote for one person that they know or whatever and then end up with a whole ballot and just start bubbling people, and you can accidentally bubble this dude's name. So I want you to know.
Or do it bubble it on purpose because you don't know no better.
Right. So Nathan Larson, who's running for Congress in Virginia, let's make sure he doesn't get past whatever. Like, no. Nathan Larson, no. Virginia, do not.
Not, yes.
Okay. Pop culture, girl, that Tiffany Haddish. Is she
my
blown?
girl? Hey.
Tiffany doing it and doing it well. Doing it well.
Go,
all right,
Tiff.
Okay, but her old crazy ex-husband, girl.
She said that mug was crazy.
Yes, he is suing her for her fictional character. He says that she basically is making money on defaming him in her book. The Black
Everybody got two sides to a story.
That's all
Everybody got two. She telling her story. You missed to write your own damn book and then tell your story and see how many people buy it. Nobody.
What? So he's suing her for $1 million in damages.
It's the system.
On the come up. Trying to be on the come up.
It's the system. And the system, anybody can sue. You can sue God.
I know, but it also saying the Bible did not do that. Don't frivolously sue your...
No, I'm saying in our legal system, you can go in and file a lawsuit saying, I want to sue God.
Right.
And it's like, you can't stop people from suing. But my thing for him is...
But somebody you know who is about to get sued.
Oh,
what were you telling me earlier?
Oh, yeah, Cap. He's suing the NFL.
Yeah.
And he going to subpoena and 45. They going to need a deposition since he knows so much about them sons of a bitches.
Yeah.
They going to want him to put that in the deposition.
Put that in a deposition with your crazy tail. But anyway, so Tiffany's husband, who's trying to be on the come up, he basically is saying that some of the stuff that she said in the book about him is untrue. He never beat her to have a miscarriage, that she actually had an abortion, and that there's a lot of stuff that she said in here. And my whole thing is this. Like you said, there's two sides to this story. Your side, three sides. Your side, my side, and the truth. And this is her version of the truth. Don't try to rewrite her narrative. Like you said, write your own narrative and back up and stop trying to come up on our girl Tiff, because she in new movies, she doing stand-up, she in all this stuff. Get your money where it's hot, Tiff.
Well, I'm gonna add one more thing to his name is Sterling, right?
Yeah, Sterling.
This is my thing. This is what an abuser does. They continue to abuse. And this is what he's doing. To come out and say that she had an abortion and not miscarriage, it's just another way to abuse her and her character and to bite at her. And because
they were married for 5 years.
For any man that is not an abuser, he would have said that's her story,
Right.
Hey, and she said it, and there's nothing I can, I can write my own book.
Correct.
But I've known real men to say, I'm not gonna challenge what she said because that's her story, and that's it.
Yep.
And even though I felt a different way about it, let her tell her story.
Right. And I mean, like I said, he can come out
He's
and do some
abusive.
interviews and make his millions that way because she blowing up. So, there's somebody who want to hear his side of the story. Whatever. So Bobby Brown is get it out for Kanye.
Girl, Bobby Brown so mad at Kanye. Them folks stopped Bobby Brown and said, Bobby Brown, what you think about Kanye putting up Whitney Houston's bathroom pic for Pusha T, pay $85,000 for Pusha T album cover? Bobby Brown said, somebody need to slap him. And I just might be the one.
I don't think I have a slap on here. I don't have one. Dang it. I ain't got a slap.
I don't neither. I don't see no slap.
No, we ain't got no slap. We get...
Yes. Well, let me say this to Kanye. Bobby Brown said you need to be slapped. Bobby Brown ain't afraid of going to jail. You better up your security because I think you about to get slapped. And if Bobby Brown need me, I'll be here, Bobby. Just ask me. I'll help you slap Kanye.
Okay. There's gonna be some okay. Oh God, there's gonna be some changes to Miss America.
Yeah, it don't matter to me.
America. I got my Miss America wave. Let's hit it. Ooh, there we go.
Will you have in a beauty pageant?
No, but you
I
don't want to.
was.
You were. I wasn't in beauty pageants, but I did a few little.
You know, the
I did
other
some
Keisha,
modeling
we were in the
gigs.
pageant together, Miss Ebony. And let me tell this story. Me and the other Keisha were in Miss Ebony.
I don't wanna hear that
She
story.
is the queen. I am the runner-up. So if she failed to her duties, I'm going to step right on in. From
it's over.
1992,
It's over.
I'm going to step right on
But
in.
it's over. Okay, so let's move on. But anyway, so
I've never won.
Okay. Oh,
Dang.
female empowerment is the mission. They're taking the swimsuit section away, and also the gowns. They don't want to be judged on their body or on these glamorous gowns. That she wants them judged on the content in their mind. So them answering the questions, how well they do that, and so it might be something where. They said the ratings have been going down, so this is their way of saying, let's get it back on track. And they're going to put more curvier women in there instead of everybody looking exactly the same.
Except for the one black chick. You know Donald Trump going to put a stop to this mess. He ain't president for nothing. He going to stop that mess. I bet you this ain't going to go off. Which one he do, Miss Universe?
I was trying to find
What he on Miss Universe, Donald Trump? He said they gonna be in there. Everybody gonna have on a bikini,
Hey.
and they ain't got to answer not one damn question. He don't want to hear nothing they say.
Oh my God. Okay, so Simon Cowell has ditched his phone for 10 months.
Great.
But you know what? Here's the deal. When I'm at school, and you fussed at me about this too, but I don't like my kids using their phones because I want them to give me my 50 minutes. I'm very jealous about that. Like, give me mine. And so so for me, a lot of times I can go most of the day and not have zero contact with my phone. And half the time, I'm not even on my computer either because I'm up teaching. So could I go a whole day? There's been times I've left my phone at home and did not turn back like it just was at home. So I'm not that attached to it. I like to get up in the morning, read my word, maybe troll Instagram a little bit here, there, or whatever. But for the most part, I think I could do it. You saying no?
I know I
you
can.
giving a hard no?
No. I know I can.
Oh.
I do it because it's something that we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
But I can go away in a bubble with a book and some coffee, and I'm good.
Well, they're saying the cell phone use is linked to a couple of things like decreased mental health, depression, ability to focus, loneliness, because people sit and watch other people's fake lives sometimes and think they got it going on, and they think they're missing with.
I got it going on. My life's so fake. I just love it.
So, under any rate,
I live well on the net. At home, I'm starving. At home, it's peanut butter and jelly on the net. I'm having
Peanut
lobster.
butter, jelly
I'm
time.
having lobster on the net.
oh God, okay.
Steal anybody picture and post it.
Well, and that's what's happening. I mean, but like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a time and a place for everything, and anything shouldn't consume all of your time. And just read some books. Like, what was the last book you read?
Actually, it's on my phone. I don't know the name, but I picked it up from the View. It was a slave lady who designed the dress for Abraham Lincoln's wife.
Okay.
So I can't think of the name, but that's what I'm reading right now.
And that's me. My goal is to read 15 books before the end of the end of the year. And I think I'm up to like 11. So I got 4 more to go. And I should be able to get through those. I'm reading, I'm going to say his first name wrong anyway. Ta-Nehisi Coates' book. I'm reading his book. I'm reading Circle Maker. I'm reading the Undisputable Laws of Teamwork by...
Girl, I'm reading so many books. They should have never let me get on A Quiet Life in the Country. I'm reading that one. It's boring.
Okay.
Where did it go?
What? Come on now. What you
All
got?
right, y'all good. Go ahead. You keep talking. I'm looking for my book. That's why I'm on Audible books. That's why.
But I think
didn't do the Audible.
you got to read and encourage your kids to read this summer. I know I talked about that last week, but have them pick up a book, challenge their minds, because like they're saying, this whole thing to just fight the depression and the loneliness and stuff, to stay off of social media and these phones constantly. Like, even if you got to cut their time down and be like, if you don't read this book and can tell me about the first 30 pages, I am going to take your because your phones or whatever, but you'll be surprised at the things that they can talk to you about, the stuff that you can learn. And so I don't
An
know.
American Princess. That's the name of the book.
Okay.
An American Princess. And I'll tell you who wrote it in a minute if I can find it.
So what's lacking? I got up this morning and what popped up on my feed was the Khalif Browder story. And there's a six-part documentary on Netflix. And I promise you, if you have not seen it, please take a look at it. And everybody saw how he had gone to Rikers Island for 3 years with the allegation that he had stole his backpack that had $700 in it. He was already on probation for joyriding in a bread truck, and so they denied his bail. He went there. They got video of these boys jumping him. They got video of the police guards slamming him and beating him up. He spent 700 days plus some in solitary confinement, and as a result, he wasn't fed. And they did this whole deposition. And they was talking about how depositions are never intended to for you to really tell your side to try to get to the bottom of it. It's generally used against you just so that the defendant, the prosecutor, or however it works out.
That's what's gonna happen with 45. Cap gonna get a deposition from him, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so they were saying
used against him,
right, and he knows that, but of course, Khalif didn't know that, and he ended up committing suicide not soon after he got out of jail because he was just he couldn't live with it, and because everything had gone national, and so the police he felt like they were watching him and doing all this kind of stuff. But the part that really kind of sucked me in and just wouldn't. I had to go into prayer. I went to hot yoga today and had to when they do their little whatever I'm normally praying to God and the Holy Spirit. But I just said, just being an advocate. So if you haven't had a chance to look at Khalif Browder's story, it's on Netflix. It's a 6-part series and it is amazing. But the part that wrenches me every time and just I promise you, give me, I don't even know. Because I got this deep passion for children, and when I see especially young men and young African American men, and here's this kid that could have gone a whole nother way and his life got turned upside down to where he literally killed himself, and then his mom, who was having heart problems, she ended up dying of a heart attack not too long after that. But it's just that whole thing. And so then I went from that to the Gen of 6, and those are the boys who lived in that town, and they had hung some nooses from a tree at their school. He got into an altercation, 6 of them, and beat up this white dude who got out of jail that night, went to a party, hung out, but the state's attorney was really prejudiced, and he walked into the auditorium before the fight happened and told them that by a stroke of a pen he could end their lives. And when they said a statement, and they said there were substitute teachers and people who were there that heard him say this, and it was just they was he was
Black Lives Matter,
right? He was very prejudiced, and the fact that he said that, and he was he was gonna seek, after they beat up this dude, the full extent of the sentencing for all of them. And I'm so you gonna ruin these kids' lives? Granted, nobody should be fighting and putting their hands on anybody, but the bottom line is,
nooses up.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, and I'm just saying, I don't want anybody.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the problem is that white people are nasty. And I'm talking about the racists, not all white people. But when you're nasty, listen at what you're saying. All the things that happened to these kids, you had no regard whatsoever for this young boy's life.
No.
And we need compassionate people in law enforcement.
But it was 6 of them, and I mean, just the idea that he would pen something to ruin their lives and have them go to jail for 20 and 30 years for some meaningless high school fight.
But tell us about Theo Shaw.
So Theo Shaw was one of the Gen of 6, and when he went to jail, this guy had this law book, so he took the law book and started reading it. He realized that he could write a letter to the judge asking him to look at give him more lenient sentence. And even though it came back denied, he realized there was a power in that. He got a response. Somebody read it. Yes, so he kept writing, and it got eventually to the person who was the big person in charge,
the supervisor,
and the judge ended up helping him and actually made him one of his clerks and made him come and work for him, an intern. And then he gave him a full ride to go to law school, and he gave the valedictorian
at the University of Washington School of Law.
Yeah, and he gave the valedictorian address to it. And even though he didn't talk about the Gen 6 experience, he was just really expressive.
Actually, he did, because what he said is he spent months in jail unable to make bail as a teenager, but his fellow law school graduates, he asked them to defend the poor and consider it their responsibility to undo injustice.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's everybody's
And he
responsibility.
said that. He was like, he says, I know public defenders have cases, and they have so many cases that one person has to deal with.
It only
but every
takes one
case,
person to say, this is not right.
Right. Treat every case. Because even with the Khalid Broward, they tried to get him to plead down to a 7-year sentence so he wouldn't get 15 years. And he was like, I did not do anything wrong. He's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I did not take this backpack. And
have you ever felt powerless?
Right.
It's the worst feeling, especially when you know you're telling the truth and nobody's listening to you.
And you sitting 700 days in solitary confinement knowing you didn't do something. Girl, that just, when I say, ooh, I wake up and coast.
And for a young man, for me, I would have taken it as a vacation. Like, y'all leave me the hell alone.
Jesus. Okay, speaking of vacations, to be or not to be, let's talk about it. What turns you on,
We
Keith?
want to know, what turns y'all on? I'm a single woman. Let me tell you what turned me on.
What turn you on,
Pay
girl?
some bills, wash some dishes, rub my feet, let me sleep in.
I think one of the things that turned me on is really kind of like reaching back in early parts of our relationship. Stuff that, like call me with a thought. Remember that time when or remember blah, 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 blah. Like that just makes, oh God, I love that. I'm such a hopeless romantic. I really am.
And
I
I'm
love
not.
it. Okay.
Hey, buy me a fry daddy.
Oh God.
Oh, I love you.
All right. So yes.
That is so hot.
All right. So
tell us what turns you on. Come on, let's get the conversation going. Let us know what turns you on.
Yeah.
Hey, because I'm like, for me, it's practical stuff. You being naked ain't turning me on.
Girl, what is wrong with you? Practical stuff. Okay, well, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I think that it is important that you do the simple things. Like, I'm not too much into the flowers and the candy stuff, not anything like that. But it could be like, that, I really like this author. So you'll buy the new book for me, and then it's sitting on the table. Stuff like that.
That's
like,
nice. I like that.
Yeah, like when you think about me without me knowing that you
turn on.
That turns me on.
No,
you get something for that.
Oh, no. Well, you
getting something for that.
You get something if you washing them dishes. If I walk in that door and my kitchen clean, hey, meet me in the bedroom.
Oh, God.
Right now.
If you washing the dishes and you bucket naked, then yes, it's on. No.
Well, Keisha Cole said she
with an apron,
hey,
nothing
but
else.
naked.
Okay.
Go Keisha. She
so we do.
Keisha,
I'm gonna
girl.
put this up on our Instagram and tell us what turns you on. Is it those things that, like Keisha said, those practical things, or are you a hopeless romantic? So we want to know.
Or are you into porn?
Okay.
or are you into dirty talk? Well, I don't know. Sexting. We talked about that. Whatever.
Girl, I just think as you get older, some of that stuff you'd be like, okay, look. Let's go back to the basics.
You heard it all.
All right.
Dude, she heard it all.
All right, dear daughter-in-law.
Woo, child, let's go back to them dirty dishes. My boys are sloppy. And Keisha, I have some tricks. You got some?
What you mean?
Because they're sloppy, I go in and clean behind them.
You do?
Yeah, because I'm clean. They're nasty, I'm clean. But anyway, one trick, girl, she just guzzling down. What is you drinking?
It's water, girl.
That sound like beer.
I started drinking cucumber and lemon water. But with the hot yogurt, I gotta stay hydrated.
This the internet. She lying.
I am not lying.
Anyway, it looked like a bottle of beer to me.
It is not a bottle of beer. This is a water bottle.
People can't see that?
They
No
will
way.
see it because I'm gonna put it up on Instagram. Get
Look
your
like
life.
beer to me. But my boys, some of the things you're gonna have to get some tricks like withhold sex.
What?
Hey, I just threw it out there.
Okay, let's move on. 'Cause I don't want to think about my daughter-in-law and having sex with my son. So I'm just.
How the hell?
I said I don't want to think about it. I didn't say it won't happen. You heard what I said. Now let's keep it moving. All right. The one thing I do want to talk about is you keeping your family out of your business.
Ooh,
and you know what? I will say this about my mother-in-law, though. I love her, and she's been in my life for a very long time, and she is one of them type of people that will mind her own business. Now, me and her we'll talk about different stuff, but that thing will divert and be like, I don't even do domestics when it come down to it, because that's her son, and she definitely loves him. But and I think she's got a spot in the heart for me too, because I'm the favorite. But
y'all listening? Would somebody let her know she not the favorite?
I am.
Anyway, so I'm gonna say this. check your family. Don't let my son have to check your family. And please, if you get out of line, my son, he ain't gonna fight you. He ain't gonna jump you. He gonna call me.
Girl.
And I'm gonna fight you, and I'm gonna jump you. Okay?
Stop it! Not right now. Somebody help me. Listen. You don't be saying it on that.
I don't give a damn.
Okay. You don't want none of that coming back to bite you in the booty.
Girl, please bring
All right.
it.
Hey, Black Child.
You can do what you want to do.
And be what you want to be. Yes, Black Child. So here's our moment in Black history. Black Wall Street was May 31st through June 1st when they had the riots, the mobs, the ransacking, the arrests, the killing, the fires. And this was all in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then deeper, it was a young girl who owned a lot of land and actually died still owning a lot. And she came from that area. And we were trying to do our own thing, mind our own business.
Let me tell you about
our own little Black Wall Street.
Let me tell you about racist.
So then Donald Trump ain't got to be trying to talk about nobody need nothing.
Well, one of the things that happened in with Black Wall Street was it was the government that did all of this.
Well, it's been the government the whole time.
Yeah.
What are we trying to say?
No, I'm
slavery.
saying it wasn't KKK. It wasn't the white supremacists that came in and did. I'm saying that
all of it is one. You asked me.
Well, I get what you're saying, but one of the things that we found out is that the local government bombed, and
you don't think none of them men were part of KKK?
No, I'm pretty sure they're part of KKK, but I'm saying it was the police department.
I mean, but I'm just saying the police department wasn't part of KKK. I'm like, I get what you're saying, but it was still all the same thing. Let's go back to the fact that it happened anyway. I don't care who was the blame for it or what different entity, because they all intertwine. You know them people on the police officers were KKK members and all that kind of foolishness.
No, I don't know why we on the same page.
So
I don't even know why you hype. What did you hype?
Because
I'm saying that it's the local government. It was the local government that came in and did that too. I just wanted to make that point because some people in history didn't realize that it was the local government.
No. Well, we realized it was some white folks. It don't make a difference where they came from. Now I done flip to you right now. Because it don't even matter.
This is what happened. Law enforcement officials used airplanes to drop firebombs on buildings, homes, and fleeing families, stating they were protecting themselves against a Negro uprising. That's what happened to Black Wall Street. Mm-hmm. And they did not document it in history, and they don't teach about it in history.
Listen, how much other stuff is not taught about in history?
A whole lot of stuff.
Okay, so you better know it.
That's the point we're making.
Absolutely.
That's why we're bringing it up.
Well, since we're talking about Black Wall Street and money, give us something, girl, on your financial piece this week.
Child, this happened to my oldest child. The boy just ain't bright. I'm sorry, I just gotta say it.
You are not gonna talk about your child like that.
Oh, I speaks truth.
Listen.
So this is what happened.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is it?
His, because I taught him better. So I tell him, do not use your debit card for everything. Take cash out. And I've said this before. Take cash for things that you're buying. Potato chips here and going to fast food places. Don't always swipe. His card got compromised. It was on the weekend. He had no access to cash. My other thing with him was keep cash on hand. Have you some cash stashed somewhere so that if something happens, you have cash. Because everybody don't take debit cards. Mm-hmm. So, and if the system go down, people like our card machine doesn't work, you need cash. I can't say this enough. I saw where he just swiped everywhere, which means the more you swipe, the more chances that your account could be hacked if you're sticking your card in everywhere.
Girl, listen to what you just said. Some young boys need to be hearing that anyway. Don't be going sticking your card in everything.
No, you thinking about sex? I'm thinking about credit card. Anyway, but
it might get compromised, baby, and then you messed up. So learn that lesson on both ends of the spectrum.
How many of us balance our checkbooks? What? And as Keisha said, what checkbook?
Because I ain't wrote a check.
I ain't wrote a check. I looked at my checkbook.
I will look at what's been taken out.
Yes, and so this is the problem.
My statements. statements.
with the statements and daily, because we have access to our accounts, we can pull it up.
Absolutely.
But the problem is when you swipe, you got to follow that transaction.
But if you have most banks now, and I mean he set it up, but because like my personal banking, if something gets swiped out of there, it comes up. I got credit cards do the same thing. If I make a purchase over a certain amount, it comes up, and then I go in every week and check to make sure everything is, but you do have to teach your kids that.
But what I'm telling me is, and I say this again, if you take the cash, you don't have to follow it no more. Once you remove the cash out, say for instance $100 a week just for you to buy all this stuff,
I get
there
it.
is no more tracking. And
but $100 if you lose it. $100 if you misplace it. I think you need to have money out, and that's a great way to budget. No, I'm serious. Like, that's a great way to budget. But at the same time, if you walk in and you're not paying attention, or somebody stick you up, or stuff like that happens to you.
If you lose $100, you can lose your card. But this is another alternative, which is the Cash App. That's money.
You won't lose your money if you use your debit card. Just shut it down. You don't lose it.
If somebody uses it.
If somebody stuck me up and I had $100 on me, that $100 is gone. If I lose my debit card, I'll call, shut it down. My $100 is in the bank.
But this is the thing. They move fast with debit cards. I mean, it's instant. Okay. Anyway, Cash App. I told my son, hey, get the Cash App. He got the app. I said, now get the card. Because you like to swipe, put the money on the Cash App card. And you can swipe all day and it's not coming out of your checking account. So you can swipe with that card and it's going to stop when it get to where you don't have any money. And all you do, you can instantly put money back on the card. You know what I'm saying? And it's not where they can compromise you. They can only compromise you for what's on that card,
right,
and not your whole checking account.
Okay.
And I asked him to do that, and he, guess what? He didn't do that neither. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make
Keisha.
it what?
I don't know.
Drink.
We're going to talk about... I was trying to support the baby because I know he be trying.
Really? That's trying.
He's trying.
So our expectations are that low.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay, so school safety. Miss Betsy DeVos. And if you do not know who this person is and you have
don't
a child...
know who she is, just
hold on a second. And you have a child in the school system, you need to get to know who she is. She is our educational secretary. So again, Betsy DeVos is our educational secretary.
No experience.
Can I finish?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I just add no experience.
All right. She needs to get the letter. She needs to get the email. Everybody needs to start sending in stuff to her. It's the summertime. I know kids are at home, so them days when they just get on your nerves and you just done had it, write the letter then, send the email then. But this woman has set up this commission, and the commission is supposed to basically go out and evaluate school safety. Well, Senator Patrick Levy of Vermont asked her a question. He says, will your commission look at firearms as it relates to gun violence in our schools? And she said that's not the charge of her commission. And he was like,
it is school
what
safety.
Are you saying?
She said it's not the charge. It is school safety.
Right. And so he was like, well, if it's school safety, then absolutely you need to be looking at this. But my thing is, she does not have a clue. And the bottom line is, if we're not sending, just like the one guy we talked about, Mr. Shaw, sending these letters, that's how we're going to get to it. Everybody sitting around and complaining about it's going to be one thing. But for us to really get in depth with this school safety thing, y'all need to be flooding her emails. We'll put it up on our Instagram and our Facebook, what it is. Send her letters and make sure that commission is doing what it needs to be doing and not be, because
what a noise maker. Can we shoot a boo
we can. You
something
want a boo?
for her? Because I can't stand her.
And let me get something else. I got to find something.
They ain't got a noise dirty enough for her. No. That's too much. I need a boo.
All right, so we boo her.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Girl, ain't nobody got time for that. The FBI agent at the party dancing and does the flip. His gun falls out on the ground. He picks it up, discharges it by accident, shoot a man in the leg because he up in that stanky leg. And girl, ain't nobody got time for that.
Is he under Trump administration? Don't blame Obama for this.
The poor baby. Baby monitors, speaking of babies, are being hacked, girl. These baby monitors, the people are hacking into them.
Did you have one?
No.
Me either.
I had the voice activated one, but not the camera. These are the ones with the camera to them. And this lady said she walked in there and the baby monitor was screaming at her baby. And then one time she was breastfeeding the baby and the baby was walking around.
When the baby monitor, it was the
what a hacker was. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the camera be following it and all this kind of stuff. So they're saying like,
Girl, I would
don't
pull
put
my
like
pants
Johnson
down.
family as your passcode. You know, make it something that makes it hard for them to hack it. What'd you say?
I pull down my pants and put my butt in that camera.
Oh.
Now monitor that. You hacker, I'll get you something to watch.
Somebody help me
I'm
right
sorry. Hey, I'll get you. I'll
Oh,
get
my
you something
God.
to watch.
Well, this dancing doctor, she doing surgery, and in there, I mean, like she at the club, girl, and so many
was
patients doing everything. I mean, had noisemakers, had all kind of stuff. I'm so serious. You have got to go watch this
I'm
video.
about to go
and
see
one of the
it now.
patients suffered a brain injury.
From
I mean,
her
could barely.
dancing?
Well, that's what they're saying. That she was being negligent. She wasn't in there just doing her surgery and getting out. She had the music blaring. The patient laid out on the table and she doing whatever. I mean, like it.
Music,
Yeah,
that's
like,
her zone.
But you know what? But that's what I'm saying.
how I be
It's
at
one
work.
thing if you have on
But ain't
music
no
and you
brain
like.
surgery.
Well, right. Well, I don't know if she's a brain surgeon, but I'm just saying. If
No,
you
I'm
got
just saying.
if you have the music going and you doing your little thing, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? And it needs you need that there to soothe you because I mean a lot of people need music to do that. But I mean, she was like breaking it down, doing
the
all kind of
extreme,
stuff,
to the
girl.
extreme.
Yes, and
She
that's
had
what I'm trying to
moves.
tell you. Like, remember I was talking about your dishes and stuff that you don't do.
They ain't got shit to
It
do with
does to
shit.
me.
What is you
It
talking about?
has absolutely
That's
nothing
her
to do with it.
working. What is that got to do? That's her working.
Can I give my opinion? You get mad at me?
Can I get mine?
Yeah, I'm listening. I let
They
you
ain't
give your
got shit to
opinion.
do
You
with
weren't
shit.
yelling at me. Go ahead.
That just told they ain't got shit to do
Okay,
with shit.
now you gonna be quiet? Let me say what I gotta say.
No.
Okay, see that's what I'm saying. So
We time up.
it does have a lot to do with it if you ask me. That's how I feel.
From the outhouse,
To the penthouse.
we out.
Two different point of views with the same name.
People stop. What they name is?
Keisha and Keisha. Keisha, Keisha and Keisha. Oh, Keisha and Keisha.